Welcome to MTI TV. I'm Sam, and I'm joined remotely by our Business and Marketing Manager for Floor Covering Installation Systems, Jeff Johnson. Today we're going to talk about products for the wood flooring installation. Welcome, Jeff. How are you?
I'm fine, Sam. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So, Jeff, what's new in the exciting world of wood flooring?
Well, just like we see in things in the tile and stone category, everything seems to be getting wider these days. Traditionally, old wood flooring was anywhere from an inch in width to 3.5 inches in width. And today, we're starting to see wood planks that are in excess of 6 inches, even up to 14 inches in width. So it's a really big, striking visual. It's all very exciting.
Well, so that's pretty wide, 14 inches. So let's talk about what we need to do to install these.
Well, what we need to think about here at the onset is with these wide planks is to consider all the dimensional stability issues or dimensional change issues that wood experiences over changes in humidity. The chart you're going to see on the screen right now is a chart showing the change coefficient of a variety of different wood species. And every wood species seems to have its own change coefficient with changes in humidity. And there are a lot of different kinds of woods and so on and so forth, but each one is going to give you a little bit of difference in terms of its change category when the humidity changes. Let's take a look at a very common one, red oak, for example. In this particular image you'll see on the screen, here is an example where a 3.5 inch wide plank of red oak goes from a humidity change from a 10% to an 8% level. So it's dried out somewhat. And you can see the change effect is going to be something in the order of 0.02 inches. So not really going to give you much of a visual gap. That's a pretty small change. But in this next image you're going to look at, let's take a look at a 14-inch wide plank of red oak and goes through the same dimensional change or humidity change from 10% to 8%. And you'll see that the gap is almost 1/8 of an inch. So the thing you need to be considered about in wide plank installations is, first of all, controlling the humidity of the environment. And if you cannot control it, then you may have to deal with the gapping issues that are involved in that kind of a situation.
Okay, so for those who don't know, this sounds to me like this is going to be a glue assist on these wider planks. And for those who don't know, how can you explain that?
Yeah, glue assist is a very safe and smart way to install wide planks. Again, if you consider this image that we're showing on the screen here, let's take a look at a cross section of that 3.5 inch wide plank. You'll notice where the staples are going through the tongue, holding the floor in place. What is available to move is that groove section over the stapled tongue. And if you look at that 3.5 inch wide cross section, that gap of 0.02 is going to happen right there where the groove is over the anchored tongue. Now, if you look at the next slide, we're going to look at a 14-inch wide plank in a similar configuration. You're anchoring it at the tongue side, where the groove is allowed to wag free, if you basically will, if you understand. So that change of humidity, that 2% decrease in humidity is going to wind up giving you that 1/8 of an inch of a gap right there where that groove is resting over the tongue. The glue assist allows you to control that. You will apply adhesive underneath that wood plank, either by extruding it as a serpentine bead on the back of the wood itself, or applying adhesive to the floor, and then installing the wood plank using traditional methods, still using the anchoring of a nail or a staple in the process.
Okay. So let's talk about how to apply that adhesive. Is there a specific method that we want to, and which Mop-Pay adhesives can be used?
Well, as I mentioned, there's a couple of ways to do that. Again, by flipping the board over on its back, you can apply the adhesive. In this particular case, we like to recommend Ultrabond Eco 907, very fast grabbing MS-based construction adhesive. You can apply that in a serpentine pattern. Some people want to call it a C-clamp method, where you apply a bead of sealant along the perimeter, the non-groove side. to help lock that in place, or you can simply trowel it on the floor using a notch trowel you might typically use for any other kind of a direct glue down floor. So 3 different methods of application, either by extruding it out of the tube or troweling it across the floor.
So Jeff, that makes sense to me. Sometimes when I nail down a wood floor, I use a moisture barrier type paper over the plywood substrate before I install the wood flooring. If you're direct bonding the plywood, where is the moisture barrier?
That's a really good question, Sam, and I'm glad you brought that up. You're right. You cannot do a glue assist over the traditional rosin paper type installation because you're bonding the paper and you're not going to have any kind of locking process in place there. So the paper is out, and we would recommend a single coat of Planaseal PMB, polyurethane moisture barrier, on the surface of the plywood to act as that moisture retarder. Simply apply with a 1/4 inch snap roller. It takes very easy to install, about 2 hours to dry, and then you can begin your normal installation process. But the Planaseal PMB takes the place of the rosin paper in terms of protecting that wood floor from subfloor moisture issues.
Thank you, Jeff. Where can we find more information about these Mapei products?
Well, you can certainly always check the website at www.mapei.com. There's a lot of information there. You can always call the Mapei Technical Services, and they can also be able to help you as well.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm Sam for MTI TV. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then to make sure you don't miss the next episode by clicking the bell icon down below. Thanks again for watching this edition of MTI TV.